Is it really trying?
Yeah. This is 3375. Bring the beat in. Oh. Without missing 3375. Yeah. Yeah, we in too deep. Legacy, yeah, we in too deep. Yeah, we in too deep. Legacy, yeah, we in too deep.
Welcome to In Too Deep with Mr. 3375, and I'm sitting here with Latanya and Rashawn. What is going on?
Not much, Jay, not much. Same old, same old. Out in the community every day, helping our brothers and sisters with mental health issues, and that's about it.
What about you, Rashawn?
Just working on getting my education, getting my businesses up and running.
That's good, good. So tell my viewers about yourself, Latanya.
Well, I'm 39-year-old, single mother of two, BCU veteran. I go out in the communities every day. I have 3 to 4 clients that I assist in mental health issues, people that are bipolar, paranoid schizophrenic, suffer from major depression, panic and anxiety.
Yeah, help me. Come on. People say I'm bipolar all the time. What can you do to help my bipolar?
Well, it depends on what you have issues with. I help people budget their money. I help people make sure they schedule their doctor's appointments, make sure they go to their doctor's appointments, make sure they're taking their medications, help them with their daily living skills, making sure they're organized. So it all depends on what you
I
want
can
to
do
do.
that. How about you, Rashawn?
Well, I'm Rashawn Carrington. I am 20 years old. I am currently a full-time college student in Randolph-Macon. I'm a junior this year, so year 3. I'm a double major in psychology and Spanish with a minor in Black Studies. Going to grad school upon graduation. I'm super excited about that. And I'm also a full-time entrepreneur as well. I have a health and wellness business, and I'm also working with this lovely young lady here to get some things started and get some things rolling with her nonprofit, and I'm looking forward to getting one started as well.
Okay. But being 20 right now, how do you feel about the state of the world right now as a young black man
At 20, I feel like we have some growing to do. We have a lot of growing to do. Since I'm a psychology major, one of the things that I really focus on is mental health. And because I'm starting to just see how that affects so many areas and aspects of our lives, not only here in America, but on a global standpoint. So I think we have a lot of growing to do and a lot of educating to do.
Single mom.
Single mom.
Okay.
What the hell from a father? We just put me together. Yeah, single mom. Single mom
Okay.
a long time.
So with both of y'all together, how do you feel the state of the world is trying to raise young kids into this world, the state of it right now?
I don't see any difficulties. I think everything starts at home. So with me, it's kind of easy because I kind of integrate what I do into my kids' lives. I know at one point that dad, when they were younger, he used to say, don't teach them too much. They're still children, let them be kids. But I was always a firm believer that things that I didn't understand growing up, I wanted to implement in their lives.
Okay.
So politics, supply and demand, how the world works, stop making Jordan rich.
Right.
Get some stock into Nike. Just basic things that I think we need to instill in our kids, and that's where it starts at home. So
Cool.
I wouldn't say it's that difficult. I will say raising a young black 14-year-old son is difficult.
Right.
Because someday he's going to be driving, and someday he's going to be stopping. You look at how people profile these days, and
Right.
so we're on it. We talk about situations and how to react to them and respond. So I think it'll be okay.
I think like the biggest thing for me is my 6-year-old, like he loves the police when he's seeing like, oh, the policeman, oh, the police. I mean, he just loved that thing. But at the same time, be like, is this going to be the same guy that's going to end up killing my kid at the end of the day? So that's something that you try to integrate in your son. Yeah, cool. I wasn't going to ask this question, but at the same time, I want to ask this question because we had a conversation about it. The little face mask thing that you make. The
avocado mask? Well, it's so weird because one day, just in my natural self, just doing things I do at home, the lemon water and smoothies, I used to always hear people say, avocado's good for the skin, avocado's good for the skin. I was like, well, it's good for the skin. You see people put cucumbers in their eyes to make the swelling go down. I think avocado would be good. So I Googled it one day, and sure enough, what I had been doing, which is basically putting avocado on my face, was something that a lot of people did.
Right.
The only difference is I didn't add the honey in the water.
Okay.
So you basically take an avocado that's pretty ripe, you don't want it too hard, and you get the avocado, place it in a bowl, you take a little small cup, you put a little water, maybe a couple of tablespoons of honey, mix it up, pour it inside the avocado and make a paste.
Okay.
And then you just add it to your face, leave it on for about 15 minutes, and then rinse it off, rinse it off with cold water.
Oh, wow. It works.
It works.
Do you sell it?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. And you say you have a business right now that you're over there. Tell us a little bit about that business that you have going on right now.
So I'm an independent distributor with It Works.
Okay.
We're a beauty, health, and wellness company that was started in 2001.
Okay.
So we actually just more than doubled the size of our company in regards to distributors. So we do amazing things. We basically get paid to change lives.
Okay.
So I sell a line of beauty, health, and wellness products, everything from weight loss, weight gain, hair growth, skincare, all those things. Just to
Hair growth, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been bald since I was 25. And they said I have.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I love doing it because the products have changed my life and really taught me so much. And I get to connect with so many amazing people who are like-minded to myself, who are go-getters, who really want to just help any and everybody. And helping people is really my passion. So it's an amazing company. I love it.
Okay. I know that y'all got a new business adventure. Tell me a little bit about y'all new business adventure.
Well, it's called Fathers for All the Help and Education to Raise Your Seeds. It was an idea that I came about back in 2004 while getting an oil change at Walmart and talking to a mechanic.
Okay.
He then told me that his wife was one of the young ladies that was murdered at Cloverleaf Mall back in 1998.
Okay.
At that time, she left behind 7 children, and he was basically telling me how difficult it was for him to talk to his daughters about getting their hair done, how to do hair, menstrual cycles and things of that nature. So a light bulb just went off one day. And I said, you know what, nobody's really helping the single father households.
Right.
So I was very passionate about that. During that time, I was on my second child. I was going to my 8th year in college. And so my professor thought it would be too much to start my own nonprofit at that particular time.
Right.
So I graduated from BCU in 06. Met a young man by the name of Knowledge from Jersey. We collaborated. He had his own nonprofits up in New York and Jersey. So he basically was teaching me the ropes about business and his own nonprofits. And he eventually passed away due to sarcoidosis. And so I got a little discouraged about starting a business on my own.
Right.
But 6 months after he passed, I said, you know what, he won't want this, so let's go ahead and do it. So I started my own website, got my LLC, my name, and just started bringing in clients. So I basically assist single fathers with, like I said, organizational skills, budgeting. I give them clothes, food if their children need it. They may need assistance with a bill. They need assistance on how to balance their life and juggle working 12-hour shifts and coming home to the children, or homework skills and things of that nature. So eventually my ultimate goal is to have my own resource center where I can provide daycare, food pantries, clothes closets, counseling, and focus groups to these men.
Was it hard to get funding for this particular project, fathers, being single fathers? Because it really doesn't, the world really doesn't revolve around single fathers. So is it hard for people to buy into it?
Well, that's actually the stage that Rashawn and I are in now, as far as getting our 501c3, writing a grant to get funding for this organization. Everything I do now is on my own, and I've been doing it on my own out of my pocket since 2014.
Okay. How many clients are you working with now?
I have approximately 20 guys that I assist,
20 guys.
but it's not an ongoing thing. It's based on a need basis.
Okay.
So basically, once they come to me with an interest, they have to fill out a questionnaire. Age, how many children they have, what difficulties, that's the main question. What difficulties do you have as a single father? What are your challenges? What are you dealing with on a daily basis that you find yourself struggling with?
So how are they qualified for the assistance?
Well, now I'm at a stage where I basically want to tweak it. I want to still focus on the single father's portion, but I want to help men in general, men that possibly have their children more than part-time per week. So the qualifications must be that you must have custody of your children, or at least be with your children more than half, during the week. We may have somebody that's joint custody, may have their kids from maybe Sunday through Thursday, then the kids may pick them up Thursday night through Saturday, something like that. So, and that's basically it. I also want to make it where we're integrating the mothers in this, because it may be a mom that has a drug habit.
Right.
I want to know, is she getting the help that she needs?
Right.
Not just to pull the kids from her, or pull the kids out of her household. We don't have to. Do you plan on making it work as a family again?
Right.
Is she deceased? If so, we have counselors that want to be on call for the children and the fathers.
Okay.
They may be acting out in school or having behavior issues because they don't have the mom in the home. So,
Okay. So how do Rashawn mix up in all of this?
Rashawn reached out to me maybe a month and a half ago, and he said he wanted to help.
Okay.
He lost his brother at 17 years old last November. So, of course, I believe, I'll let him tell that story, but I think his nephew was born the same, like 3 days.
3 days later.
3 days later after his
Wow.
brother was murdered. So he wants to help single mothers.
Okay.
So he can tell you a little bit more about that.
Yes. Can you tell us your vision?
Well, I was raised by a single mom. It was just me, my mom, and my brother. And of course, luckily she had help from my grandmother and my aunt as well, who were single mothers at the time. So I've always been around single mothers, so that's all I knew. And it just really, as I was growing up with my mom, I've always been an old soul. And I would just always sort of observe her, my grandmother, and my aunt. And I just noticed that, a lot of the times they were just functioning from like places of brokenness.
Right.
And so I sort of took notice to that, and then growing up in the projects of Richmond, my brother and I weren't always, in the best environments, and so that sort of led to his death in November. But it just really sort of made me, realize that if we can get into the community and start helping our single mothers to really raise their children in the best way possible, then I think we can really start to fix some of the things that are going wrong in our community. Because if my mom had, someone who could help her to get through all that she went through being a single mother, because my mom and my dad were actually married for 18 years, but they were only together for 2 years.
Okay.
So it was just, just a weird, interesting situation that I was in. And so, I said, if someone had been there to sort of help her through the whole mental process of, getting a divorce and, just sort of really moving on with her life so that, now she's 40. She's been working for the same restaurant for about 15 years, and she's sort of like in this place where she doesn't know what's next for her.
Right.
And it's just a really hard time because it's a time of transition for both of us. And so I'm just sort of finding myself trying to help her get through the transitional period. And I know it's not the first one in her life, and it won't be the last. So my vision for my organization is to really just be there for single mothers, because I've seen single mothers raise children so flawlessly that I know for the most part, most single moms just have that maternal instinct that is a godsend, because God knows I don't have it.
We don't have it. We definitely don't have it. We had that conversation earlier.
But just to be sort of that helping hand, whether it's you need daycare or you need somebody to talk to, you need some form of counseling, or maybe you didn't get the chance to go to college and you need some help trying to navigate that, because the college application progress is just so rigorous and so just out there. That not everybody knows how to go through the process. So just being able to supply them with resources to get them to where they want to be in life, because everyone has dreams, everyone has goals, everyone has aspirations, and far too often I see mothers and fathers really just sacrifice their lives for their children. And I see this so much with my mom because my brother and I are her life. Now that he's gone, my nephew sort of fills that spot for my brother. And so, because I'm 20 years old, I'm in college, so I'm only home maybe on the weekends or like on school breaks. And so when I'm not there, the house is really quiet because my brother's no longer there. And so my mom, I guess I kind of say she doesn't have much of a life. She just sort of goes to work, comes home, and that's sort of it. And I'm trying to get her to the point where I'm like, okay, Mom, what do you want to do? I mean, you're 40, you're not old, and in my book, you're not old, you don't look your age at all, and I'm like, you still have some good years left. What do you want to do?
Right.
Because she just sort of wrapped herself around us two just being her life, and now that my brother's gone and I'm grown, I'm just trying to help her to find a way to just sort of live her life and enjoy her life.
Right.
So I've just seen so much of that I just want to help mothers and fathers just be able to raise their children while also living their lives.
Right. Being African American, Black, however you want to call it, how important is it for us to give back to our community?
Oh, very important. Very important.
It is essential.
Yeah. Our ancestors fought very hard for us to be who we are now,
Right.
which is seem like we're going backwards.
So for people that wants to give back to the community, like where do they start? Like how would they do it? Where do they go? Especially here in the city. Because some people just scared to go to the project, and that's what we really need to be at.
Well, I will say one of my long-term strategic planning visions would be to, I want to be able to assist our brothers and sisters in growing their own food.
Okay.
I want to be able to go to the projects and show people, have a little courtyard in the middle where there's a garden for each project.
Right.
And where these people can eat fresh vegetables without pesticides or toxins put on them. And I want to be able to take each building, and each building has to implement their time, like every month,
Right.
into growing this food and make it a thing where we can recycle that. And that way, when kids grow up, they can teach their kids what they've learned,
Right.
and it becomes a good cycle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of these people having these food drops, especially in Church Hill, where you only have these little bodegas on the corner,
Right.
and you already know what people are buying. And you go to a little community supermarket where you have the vegetable aisle as small as this, and then everything else is just canned goods and processed foods.
Right.
So I definitely see a vision where I can actually go into the communities and teach our brothers and sisters how to grow their own food. That's definitely what I want to do. I think everything starts within the home and everything starts within the body.
Right.
So I think that creates longevity down the road.
Okay. How about you?
I would say there's so many organizations in Richmond, and this is one of the things I love about living in Richmond and being from Richmond, is that there are a lot of organizations that are already established in the city.
Right.
That align themselves with allowing people to be able to get out in the community and give back.
Right.
So when I was in middle school and high school, I was required to do community service hours, and I sort of said to myself, well, how do I go about doing this? And I found a few organizations, a few websites that were solely dedicated to helping people get involved in the community. And so with using those websites, the main one being handsongreaterrichmond.org, I was able to get out in the community to work at different shelters. I volunteered at the main library for several years. I even taught a knitting class there for a few weeks. Just really, sort of reaching out and, sort of getting yourself out there and not being afraid to talk to people. Because I think the easiest way to find out something is to just talk to people.
Right.
Communication. So many people are afraid to talk to somebody face to face. We got so used to being on social media all the time and, tapping the little wave button on Facebook Messenger versus, actually going up to a stranger and saying, hey, nice to meet you. My name is such and such. And, just really establishing those relationships and connections. Because it's in those circles and in those conversations that you really can find out that you have, a treasure right there sitting in front of you. Because I've known LaTanya for years through church, and it wasn't but through Facebook that I found out about her organization.
Right.
But it wasn't until we started, sending voice messages back and forth or talking over the phone that I really began to really know and understand who she was and what she was doing in the community. And had I not taken that leap of faith to talk to her and see what she had going on, that I would have ever found out about this organization or how I could get involved.
Right. Both of y'all seem like y'all got a great idea. So can you tell the viewers how to, get their business started? What do you need to go through? What's the whole process of first getting your business started?
Well, I think it's first starts with a vision.
Yes.
First starts with a vision.
Have to have a vision.
First, is it realistic?
Yeah.
And then you want to look towards the population that I'm going to be assisting.
Right.
And with me, I just basically, like I said, I started with Family Guy on Facebook. He did my logo.
Okay.
And then after that, went through the State Corporation Commission, got my LLC. Of course, I made sure my name wasn't taken by anybody first. And went from there, did everything on my own. Got my P.O. box. Created these flyers and questionnaires and did everything on my own. Right now, we're in the process of doing the 501c3, which is a heavy load, doing the bylaws and the articles and a host of other things. So that's where we are now. As a matter of fact, he started tweaking the website a little bit, making it more user-friendly for our users. And so he's in the process of doing that now. And then sometime this week, we're going to continue to work on our bylaws and then try to get our 501c3 where we can actually get the funding for this and get the resource in it that we want.
I would say it definitely starts with the vision. So from that vision, you sort of have to create a plan as to what you want to do, how are you going to market yourself and sort of get your name out there. Because if no one knows about whatever product or service you have, no one's going to be willing to make donations, support, come out, see what you're all about. So it's really, a lot of it is just marketing. It's just really getting yourself out there. And so one of the ways that we plan to sort of market our business is just to do little small events month to month to get into the community, to get in front of some mothers and fathers and just sort of, letting them know what we have to offer. Because if people don't know, then they won't come. And then from there, it's just going to be sort of just figuring out what exactly our target market needs. Because you can't try to sell or provide a service to anyone if they don't need it. So if I'm trying to provide homework assistance to these fathers and their children, but they're all aligned with different programs that are already established in the community, then it's sort of a waste of resources for me to do the same thing. When I could put those monies or those work hours in somewhere else. And then from there, it's just to, work that plan, work that vision, and, continuing to see how you can improve that. Because I feel like so many times we get to a place and we get comfortable and we say, oh, okay, this feels good, this feels right, and let me sort of, remain here. When that is, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do, because you want to continue to keep growing and figuring out new ways to incorporate new things or to expand. That's what I really love about what we're doing right now, is because we're just trying to establish something here in Richmond so that we can take it to other places all across the United States.
Absolutely.
So, what are your information? For viewers, how they can contact you?
Well, I'm not sure if Rashawn changed the domain yet. Is it still the same?
It's still the same.
Okay. www.jones, that's my last name, JONESLD2, that's the number 2, .wix, wix.com/fathers. You also can reach out to me at my business phone number, 804-410-4418. And you also can email me at singlefathers@yahoo.com. And that's fathers with an S.
Great. And I always end my interviews. Y'all have any shout outs?
No shout outs for me.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Y'all gets no love. No shout out.
Shout out to the community. We look forward to seeing you all out and about and to see you at one of our future events.
Absolutely.
I thank both of y'all very much for coming through. And like we do at the end of each show, we profile a missing person. Thank you for visiting us. Come see us again. In Too Deep with Mr. 3375, Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is the key to building your legacy.
Yeah. Mr. 3375.